Yes, my people, it is your boy VRD, and we are down here for another commentated drive. In today's video, we are going to be taking a 9 carriage class 801 Azuma down from Doncaster to Peterborough, calling at Newark Northgate along the way. Yeah, I must say, guys, this route has grown on me quite a bit. I know in my first commentated drive video on the East Coast mainland, I was slamming the route a lot. But nah, after playing it quite a bit, doing a lot of practice runs and actually learning the speed limits, I must say the route is quite enjoyable to drive. I think I was just complaining because I didn't know the speed limits, but now I know where all the speed limits are. Yeah, I actually quite like it. So you can see our train coming in now. I'm going to make my way to the end of the platform because that is the stopping position. Right, we are going to enter the cab. We'll begin by sitting in the driver's seat to take command of the service. Gonna immediately set the driver reminder appliance. Are the doors open? I believe the doors are already open. I'm going to move the FNR switch into the off position momentarily and remove the master key. Now going to come over to the safety systems isolation panel. I'm going to turn the ETCS, TPWS, vigilance and driver safety device isolation switches into the vertical normal positions. Now going to sit back in the driver's seat, insert the master key, turn the FNR switch into the neutral position and acknowledge the AWS self-test sequence.
TPWS and AWS operational.
There we go. I'm now going to ensure that the headlight switch is in the correct position. It's currently in the full beam position. It's a bit bright, so I don't think it needs to be in the full beam position. I'm going to turn it into the dimmed beam position. And I'm going to configure the GSMR radio handset. So I'm just pressing the registration button in the top right. And we are now registered on the GSMR, so our train head code is 1 Alpha 13. Just gonna take a glance at the headlights to ensure that they're being displayed correctly. Yep, that's fine to me. And this nonsense with the driver safety device hasn't been rectified yet. The developers, I'm sure they're aware of this and they're choosing to do nothing about it. Absolutely pathetic. But yeah, when if your FNR switch is in neutral, your driver safety device should not be going off at all. So whether that's at regular intervals or when you get up out of the seat, the driver safety device is inactive when the FNR switch is in neutral. So I'm not sure why I'm hearing it go off. That is ridiculous. We have a red signal at the end of the platform at the moment, and that's probably due to the fact that we had a train overtaking us. So when that train gets a bit further down the line and clear of this signal section, we should get a single yellow signal. Then that will jump up to a double yellow signal, then a green. And I believe that is everything. We'll have a look at our calling pattern. So Newark Northgate and Peterborough, about an hour's journey. Signal has now cleared to a single yellow aspect with a position 4 junction indicator. So we're being routed onto the track to our right. I'm going to glance at the CCTV monitors. Again, DSD going off, shouldn't be. Pressing the door close button. Also resetting the driver reminder appliance because the signal is no longer displaying a red aspect. Doors have closed, door interlock light has illuminated. Final glance at the signal, now displaying a double yellow aspect, and that's just jumped up to a green, so we are all good. FNR switch into forward. Moving the PBC into the minimal brake position, and what I'm going to do is jump straight into the power notch 1 position without pausing in the off position for too long. And that is because the class 801 either does not have a hill start button, or the hill start button has not been incorporated into the 801 within Train Sim World. So by going straight into power notch 1, you're just mitigating the chances of having a rollback. you're applying power while the brakes are still releasing, more or less. The speed limit departing from Doncaster is 25 miles an hour at the moment, just until we cross over onto the track immediately to our right. Once the full length of our train is on the track to our right, speed limit will be increasing to 120 miles an hour, and shortly 125 miles an hour after that. So I've been in notch 2 to get up to 20 miles an hour. Now that we're approaching 25 miles an hour, I've gone down to notch 1. And we're up to 25 miles an hour, so I've shut off the power. Just waiting for the full length of our train to be clear of that point work. Now at some point along here, I'm not sure where it is. I don't know if there's not a speed board for it or something, but I can never seem to find where it is. But the speed limit goes up from 120 to 125 miles an hour. Now, by the time you get up to 125 miles an hour, the speed, sorry, but wait, what did I say? I'm not sure what I just said. By the time you get up to 120 miles an hour, the speed limit will definitely be 125 miles an hour. So you don't really need to worry about the 120 mile an hour speed limit. You can just accelerate straight up to 125. So that is what I'm going to do now. But I need to perform a running brake test at 30 miles an hour. So I've just used a small burst of power notch 2 to accelerate up to that speed. Now that we're up to 30 miles an hour, I'm going to apply about 80% braking and observe a reduction in our speed by 10 miles an hour. I'm now releasing the brakes and straight into full power. Speed limit is now, do you know what, let's just have a look at the HUD because I don't. Okay, speed limit is still 125 miles. Speed limit is still 120 miles an hour, shortly increasing to 125 miles an hour. Now I need to see if there's a speed board regarding this increase in speed because I haven't seen one yet. And I've driven between Doncaster and Peterborough about 4 times now, so yeah, I'm a bit baffled. So apparently the speed increase is coming up. Is there a board telling us this? No, I don't think there is. Oh no, there is. It's one of those old-fashioned stencil type boards. So it has no background. It's just literally the numbers that have been cut out. I don't know why those exist. That how are you supposed to see that? Deary me. Anyway, next station is Newark, which is nowhere near here. So yeah, full steam ahead. Yeah, so like I said, guys, this route has just really grown on me. The I feel like as a person that meditates quite a lot, being able to just drive at high speed like this for a long distance of time. Oh gosh, the grammar. For an extended period of time, it just gives me a chance to clear my head a bit, just obviously focus on my breathing. So yeah, I feel like that's why this route has grown on me quite a bit. It is very relaxing to drive, just seeing the scenery go by as well. It does help take you out of reality a bit. Very immersive. So not too far from here, we're gonna have a reduction in the speed limit down to 110 miles an hour. What I'm gonna attempt to do is shut off the power and let the momentum of our train naturally die down to that speed, as opposed to using the brakes. So I've shut off the power about now. I might have left it a bit too late, but we'll see what happens. So we're currently negotiating a left hand bend. There's going to be a short straight section after this left hand bend, and then at the end of that short straight section is where the 110 mile an hour speed limit commences. So we've just passed the warning board for that speed limit now, and we're doing 115 miles an hour. So I've just tapped on the brakes a bit to bring us down to 110. Speed limit is now 110 miles an hour. So yeah, maybe shut off the power a bit earlier if you want to come down to 110 without using the brakes, but I left it a bit too late there, so I had to make a short brake application. We're also passing through the first neutral section of our journey. I'm still yet to pinpoint the exact locations of all the neutral sections along this route, as well as the locations for the whistle boards. That's something I still need to learn, but I've more or less mastered the speed limits now. The speed limits are quite easy to learn, to be honest. So speed limit is now going back up to 125 miles an hour, so I've gone back into full power. I know that the next neutral section is on the approach to Retford Station, and then I believe there's another one about a couple of miles out from Newark Station, but I'm not sure where the other ones are. I think there's one between Grantham and Peterborough as well. But yeah, I'm gonna try my best to memorize them. I think there's about 5 in total. I remember someone on YouTube saying there's 5. But yeah, man. So we're up to 120 miles an hour, so I'm reducing the power to power notch 3 just to have a controlled rate of acceleration up towards 125 miles an hour. Once we get up to about 122.5 miles an hour, I'll probably reduce the power down to notch 2, and I'm just going to aim to have the speed balance out around there. I'm not going to accelerate all the way up to 125 because that's going to increase the chances of me accidentally exceeding the speed limit, which I don't want. So yeah, we got up to 122.5, so I've gone down into power notch 2, and that should balance out our speed. And if the momentum starts dying off, then I'll just increase the power again to maintain the speed. In fact, we still seem to be accelerating, so I'm gonna reduce the power to power notch 1. And our speed is now starting to fall back towards 120 miles an hour, so I'm increasing the power again up to power notch 2. We're not too far out from Retford Station now. We're not going to be stopping at Retford Station. However, we do have a reduction in the speed limit down to 120 miles an hour just on the other side of Retford Station, and about a mile and a half after that, excuse me, a mile and a half after that, I'd say the speed limit goes down to 115 miles an hour. So what I'm going to do, I think there was a neutral section around here as well. Or my, okay, I might have missed it. Oh no, there it is. Okay, so at the neutral section, just cut off your power, and then from there just let the momentum of your speed, just let the momentum of the train die off. Let your speed fall down to 115 miles an hour. So I'm acknowledging an audible AWS indication regarding the warning board for the reduction in the speed limit down to 120 miles an hour. That speed limit commences just here on the other side of Retford Station. And I'm going to continue to let our speed die off down to 115 miles an hour because we have a 115 mile an hour speed limit commencing not too far from here. I think there's a whistle board coming up as well at some point. So we're down to 115, so I've just gone into power notch 2 to maintain that speed. I believe it's on the other side of this right hand curve where the 115 mile an hour speed limit commences. So here's our whistle board coming up. Speed limit is now 115 miles an hour. Second whistle board. And I've gone into power notch 3 because our speed is starting to fall down towards 110. And I'm just starting to cut back on the power now to prevent us from exceeding 115. Cool, blimey. So yeah, I'm currently in power notch 2. Speed limit will be increasing back up to 125 miles an hour, not too far from here. And we're just about to exceed 115 miles an hour, so I've shut off the power there to stop that from happening. And you can see the speed board with the numbers 100 with the number 125 in it. So our speed limit is now back up to 125 miles an hour. Full steam ahead. and we're already up to 120 miles an hour, so I've reduced the power down to notch 3. Making a further reduction in the power down to power notch 2. Down to notch 1. And I'm actually going to shut off because it seems like we're going down a downward gradient at the moment. Acknowledging the audible AWS indication for a WLO signal. I momentarily made a brake step 1 application, but just before passing the WLO signal, it actually changed to a green aspect, so I've now released the brakes. I'm going to apply power notch 2 to crawl back up towards 125 miles an hour. And reducing that down to power notch 1 and shutting off the power. Got another WLO signal, so I'm making a minimal brake application. And it's cleared to a green aspect, so again releasing the brakes and going into power notch 4 for now. But I'm going to shortly reduce that down to power notch 3. Yep, reducing that down to power notch 3 now as we get to 120 miles an hour. There's another whistle board there. I think that's another WLO signal in the distance. Yep, it is. So shutting off the power, brake step 1 application. I keep calling it brake step 1. On a class 801, you would call it minimal brake application, not brake step 1. But yeah, again, signal jumped up to a green aspect just before we passed it, so releasing the brakes and back into the power range. Power range. I need to practice the way I pronounce power. I feel like I say it a bit oddly. Power. Power range. Power notch 1. Power notch 2. Power. Power. Anyway. Yeah, so just again creeping back up towards 125. We're up to about 122.5. So just reducing the power. Currently in power notch. I think that's power notch 1 right now. I can't even tell. And I'm shutting off the power. Back into power notch 2. And I'm just going to continue bouncing between the off position and the power notches. There's another whistle board there. Just bouncing between the off position and the power notches to maintain 125 miles an hour. We're not too far out from Newark Northgate Station now. So you've got this left-hand bend here. At the end of the second left-hand bend, I'm going to make a minimal brake application. And that brings you into Newark Station on a very beautiful deceleration curve. So I've already shut off the power. Just getting ready to make that brake application. And we're at the end of the left hand bend, so I'm getting that minimal brake application in from now. And it's a long straight section of track into Newark Station. And then the straight actually continues a bit beyond Newark as well. And then there's a left-hand bend on the other side of Newark. Speed limit is also momentarily decreasing to 100 miles an hour, but that isn't going to affect us because we're slowing down for Newark Station anyway. But here's the commencement of the 100 mile an hour speed limit, and you do get a warning board for that as well. There's another whistle board, and the speed limit has now gone back up to 125 miles an hour. So the 100 mile an hour speed limit is just as you cross over the Newark Flat Crossing. The only place in England where two pairs of tracks cross over each other at an almost perpendicular angle. There's no other place in England like that. I just upped the braking force to about 60% there just to reduce our speed down to 30 miles an hour for the entry into Newark Station. Now that we're down to that speed, I've gone back into the minimal brake application. For reference, minimal is about 30% braking. And as we get closer to the platform, I'm just increasing the braking force slightly just to ensure that we don't fly past the stopping position here. Now releasing the brakes just to crawl up to the stopping position, trying to have the stop board in the window there, just like so, back into the minimal brake position for the stop. Perfect. Maximum braking, F and R switch into neutral, and we have a door release on the left. Right, we are at our scheduled departure time, so I'm pressing the door close. Nope, glancing at the signal, the CCTV monitors, then pressing the door close button. Door interlock light has illuminated. The doors close ridiculously quick on this train. I don't know why. Anyway, final glance at the signal. We have a green aspect. Final glance at the CCTV monitors. F and R switch into forward. Reducing the brakes down to the minimal application. Jumping straight into power notch 1. Brakes have released and we're on the move. Upping that to power notch 2. I'm not going to shove it straight into power notch 4 because we are currently driving in the leaf full season, so we are prone to wheel slip. Up to power notch 3. And I'm going to go up to power notch 4 when we reach 20 miles an hour. So doing that now. Full steam ahead. Next station is Peterborough. Speed limit is 125 miles an hour. I can see a double yellow signal in the distance, so I'm making an immediate minimal brake application. But it's clear to a green aspect, so I'm going back into full power. You can see we have a class 66 over there in the passing loop. And we are up to 120 miles an hour, so I'm reducing the power to power notch 3. Now reducing that down to power notch 2 as we get up to 122.5 miles an hour. And our speed seems to be balancing out at the moment. Not too far from here, we're going to have a reduction in the speed limit down to 115 miles an hour. So there is a right hand bend coming up. Then we have a short straight section after that right hand bend. And then there is another right hand bend after the short straight section. The 115 mile an hour speed limit commences at the end of the short straight section, so the start of the second right hand bend. So I've shut off the power from now just to give our speed a bit of time to die off. Hopefully I don't need to apply the brakes. I might have left it a bit too late. Come on, come on, come on. Nope, our speed seems to have calmed down in time. Perfect. So I'm going into power notch 2 just to maintain 115. Speed limit is now 115 miles an hour. And we're going to have a further reduction in the speed limit down to 100 miles an hour in about 2 miles time. So I'm going to try my best to time when to shut off the power in hopes of slowing down for that speed limit without needing to use the brakes. So I'm going to shut off the power about now, just before entering this tunnel. We'll see if that does the job. Yeah, I think we managed to pull it off. We're down to 100 and about 106 at the moment, and the speed limit is in about half a mile's time. Uh, right, so we're about to enter a left-hand bend, and the 100-mile-an-hour speed limit commences shortly after the entrance into this left-hand bend. Uh, Yep, we're down to 100 miles an hour, and here comes the 100-mile-an-hour speedboard. So, bang on. So, for reference, if you shut off your power as you enter that tunnel shortly after the 115-mile-an-hour speed limit, your speed will fall off for the 100-mile-an-hour speed limit through Grantham Station. And on the other side of Grantham Station, Grantham Station, the speed limit goes back up to 115 miles an hour. So I've selected full power. I'm actually quite pleased with myself. That's my first time pulling that off. Practice makes perfect, guys. Practice makes perfect. And we are up to 110 miles an hour. So I'm reducing the power down to power notch 3. And power notch 3 seems to be balancing out our speed at the moment. I'm gonna decrease it to power notch 2 because we were creeping towards 115. This is Stoke Tunnel. It's the only tunnel on the route that I actually know the name of. And between here and Peterborough, we're going to be on a predominantly downward gradient. Speed limit is now 125 miles an hour. The board for that was ridiculously difficult to make out. It was a tiny little board down at track level. During the night, that would be impossible to make out, so you'd have to literally know that this is where you're clear to accelerate up to 125. But yeah, this has been a very decent run so far. I'm actually quite impressed. Hopefully it doesn't go pear-shaped on the approach into Peterborough. So I've just reduced the power down to power notch 3. I'm going to reduce that down to power notch 2, and I'm actually going to shut off the power from now because, like I said, we are on a downward gradient at the moment. So Momentum should hold us at around 25 miles an hour. The Class 801, it isn't really too good at coasting. Maybe it's good at coasting at lower speeds, but at these high speeds, it really doesn't coast too well. Even if you're on a downward gradient, the speed still seems to somehow fall off. An Electro Star would never. And our speed's starting to fall back down towards 120, so I'm going to go into power notch 2 for now. And I'm shutting off the power again as we got back up towards 125. And I'll keep repeating that process just to maintain the speed. Yeah, this section between Grantham and Peterborough is absolutely horrid. There's just nothing going on. It's just a predominantly 125-mile-an-hour stretch of track. So, sorry guys, I don't know what to talk about. Um, yeah. I see a double yellow signal in the distance, so I'm gonna get my minimal brake application in, but it's probably gonna change to a green aspect. Yep, it did. So back into full power. You always want to be on the ball when it comes to these signals. Always get your minimal brake application from when you see the double yellow signal, and if you pass it and it doesn't change to a green aspect, then you increase the braking force quite dramatically, because believe it or not, you have to brake relatively hard when you're running on the yellow signals, if you want to have any chance of stopping at the red signal. Trust me, I would know. I would know. What must have happened is I was coming into I was on the approach to Peterborough station one time, and I passed a double yellow signal. I got the brakes in before passing the signal, had my minimal brake application in. When I passed the signal, I upped it to 60%, and I thought that would be enough. So I remained in 60% braking, passed the single yellow signal doing about 90 miles an hour. And I was just like, this seems a bit fast, but let me have faith. I'll have faith in 60%, because 60% is actually quite a lot of braking force. Next thing I know, I'm getting licked by the TPWS grids on the approach to the red signal. I didn't go past the red signal because obviously I had an emergency brake application. But yeah, it just goes to show that you actually need to apply quite a lot of braking force when you pass a double yellow signal. The signals are quite close together. So we're not too far out from Peterborough station now. I reckon we got about another 5 minutes or so. I can see a double yellow signal, so I'm getting a minimal brake application in. It's clear to a green aspect, so back into full power. We had another double yellow signal, but it cleared up to a green aspect again. I didn't bother applying the brakes for that one because, well, I didn't actually notice it until we went over the AWS magnet. And we're back up to 125 miles an hour, so I've shut off the power. And I'm starting to recognize where we are now. We're not too far out from Peterborough. Once we start seeing a bunch of sidings, then we can start to prepare to apply the brakes. You do get brought down by the signals anyway for Peterborough station, but because I don't want to be applying too much braking force, I'm gonna try and get the brakes in before passing, well, before even seeing the double yellow signal for Peterborough station. I'll probably have a final burst of power to bring us back up to 125 miles an hour. Then after that, I'm just gonna let the speed of our train gradually start reducing. So yeah, back up to 125 miles an hour. I'm now shut off the power, and because I know that we're not too far out from Peterborough, I'm gonna just let the momentum of our train begin to die off. So yep, you can see that we have a bunch of sidings and whatnot to our right. So I know that we're not too far out from Peterborough now. I'm actually going to get a minimal brake application in from now. This is the final right hand curve into Peterborough station. So there's this right hand curve, then we have a straight section of track that leads into Peterborough. And you can see we have our double yellow signal now, so I'm going to up the braking force to about 60%. And I'm aiming to be doing about 70 miles an hour as we pass the single yellow signal. If you're doing above 70 miles an hour, you're in a very dangerous situation, let's just say that. So here's the single yellow signal. Nope, sorry, that was the audible AWS indication regarding a warning board for a turnout speed of 30 miles an hour. That was the single yellow signal that we just passed. So it is in fact the signal protecting Peterborough station that's currently displaying a red aspect. So I'm just upping the braking force a bit to bring our speed down. Apologies if you heard my phone going off in the background. I thought that was on silent, but clearly not. And I've just gone back into the minimal brake application there. And once we get down to about 20 miles an hour, I'm going to release the brakes. Releasing the brakes now. And I'm going to remain at 20 miles an hour until we get closer to the signal. I think I can now see the signal, and it is displaying a single yellow aspect. Yep, so I'm going to apply notch 2 power. Always make sure you're very certain of the aspect that the signal is displaying before accelerating, and also make sure that the signal that you're looking at is actually associated with the track that you're on. You don't want to be looking at a signal thinking that it applies to your track, but it's actually for the track next to you, because yeah, that can be bad. That could be very bad. So our red signal is at the end of Peterborough platform, so I've accelerated up to about 35 miles an hour. I've now shut off the power, and I'm going to get a minimal brake application in about now. You can see the platforms at Peterborough station coming up. And the signal at the end of the platform has actually cleared, as the banner repeater that we just passed told us. Oh no, it hasn't cleared. Okay, interesting. Why did the banner repeater lie to me? What? What on earth? Okay. Minimal brake application as we come to a stand. Full service, neutral, setting the driver reminder appliance, and we have a door release on the left. Okay, so that I had a bit of a fast approach into the platform because the banner repeater told me that the signal was clear, so I wasn't too fussed about it. I went over the AWS magnet associated with the red signal at above 20 miles an hour, which you shouldn't be doing. But again, the banner repeater told me that the signal was clear. Am I bugging? Like, I'm going to watch that back when I'm editing it and see. I could have sworn the banner repeater was in the diagonal position. Oh gosh, okay, that was rude. Return to free roam. I didn't even get a chance to shut down the train. F&R switch into the off position, although the AI is just gonna keep. Okay, let's just deactivate the safety systems. Press the AWS button just to shut up the. Yeah. Exit the cab. Okay. Exit the cab. What is going on, man? Okay, there we go. And yeah, that is it. I'd like to thank you guys for taking the time to watch this commentated drive. Constructive feedback and criticism is more than welcome in the comment section below. And if you'd like to further support the channel, please consider liking and subscribing. I will catch you guys in the next one. Love.